Hey, what's up, girl?
I love ya. I love ya.
Hey,
I love ya. Good morning, my sister. I'm a
hey,
cousin.
how you doing, sis?
Sister, how are you?
I'm good. It's a long time
Yes, good, good. So let's get on with this show. It's
since I looked in your face.
I know. So I know. Girl,
I
it's
didn't,
time to everybody's here. Let's welcome the world because the world is here with us. I just want to welcome everyone to, the Ask Yeyefin show. This is every month, the first Sunday of every month. I am Yeyefin, the director of the International Institute of African Studies and Knowledge and the president of Yeyefin.com. I want to welcome you. If this is your first time, welcome to the family. If it's not, you're one of my followers on YouTube and on Facebook and Instagram. Welcome,
knowing that.
welcome, welcome to the show in honor of Olokun and of the ancestors. So I want to just begin this by just singing and honoring our ancestors because this is Black History Month and it's time for us to give honor and praise to our ancestors. So I'm going to sing a song that is going to say, ancestors, ancestors, come, we welcome you, we welcome you. And the second song then is going to be one that everybody knows, but I'm going to sing it in Yoruba and English. So everyone, just take a minute to just get centered and call in on your ancestors, knowing that this is Black History Month for February for the 2021. And it is also in honor of Olokun, the energy that governs our, our African soul, our cultural soul, and of course, all of the things that we have done for the world. So I am so grateful that we are able to call on our ancestors. So just take a minute, everyone, and just take a breath and just release that and let him know that you are here by divine grace and divine order, breathing in again and thanking that breath because without it, we're nothing. And then breathing out. Take one more breath, just breathing in and connecting to your divine self. Bless that breath and release it. I want to call on the ancestors. Egun wole wole atumboye, egun wole wole alashe, egun wole wole atumbaye, wole alashe. And this song is saying, welcome, welcome, ancestors coming back to the realm of the living. Egun wole wole atumboye, egun wole wole alashe o. Egun wole wole atumboye, egun wole wole alashe o. Egun wole wole atumboye, egun wole wole alashe o. Egun wole wole atumboye, egun wole wole alashe o. Egun wole wole atumboye, egun wole wole alashe o. Egun wole wole atumboye, egun wole wole alashe o. Egun wole wole atumboye, egun wole wole alashe o. Egun wole wole atumboye, egun wole wole alashe o. Egun wole wole atumboye, egun wole wole alashe o.
Ashe.
The next one that I'm going to sing is giving us that old time religion, which is that of our ancestors. For when he sing, and y'all can join in because y'all know this. I'm going to sing it in Yoruba and then in English. Fuwani sing it badarubo, fuwani sing it badarubo, fuwani sing it badarubo, sheda julo fumi. Give me that old time religion, give me that old time religion, give me that old time religion. It's good enough for me.
For me.
It was good for our ancestors. It was
It
good
was
for
good for our ancestors. It was
our
good for our
ancestors. It was good
it
for our
was
ancestors,
good
and it's
for
good
me.
enough for me. Yes, Fuani singing badarubo, Fuani singing badarubo, Fuani singing badarubo, Sheda julo fumi, Fuani singing badarubo, Fuani singing badarubo, Fuani singing badarubo, Sheda julo fumi. Giving our ancestors giving us that old time religion of going into nature and connecting. And now in honor of our ancestor, Olokun. Olokun is the energy that is present in our melanin, that is present in our racial soul, that makes us who we are, that gives us our lips, that give us our hips, that give us our noses, that give us our curly hair. Olokun, the month of February, we honor and worship Olokun. I have a big shrine for Olokun here. And I just want y'all to connect to that, knowing that no one knows what lies at the bottom of the sea. We never know the potentiality of us unto ourselves in a place where we can be creative in calling our ancestors and calling Olokun. And we're giving honor to our ancestors today that we recall, that we remember, but also we have to give honor to the ancestors whose graveyard is the ocean. Many chose not to make it to the enslavement place. Many were thrown overboard. This is the month that we have to reconnect to the legacy of our ancestors, the power that still we rise. In spite of all of that, here we are in social media expressing the grandeur of Olokun, of God and the ancestors. That Olokun always knows our story because Olokun was present in the transatlantic enslavement of our people. So we cannot have ancestor celebration without Olokun because Olokun held us. Olokun held us. And Olokun made sure that we had a glorious death and a glorious life. So I'm going to sing to Olokun. And it says, Oniboku, Awakwe, Olori Dienya Nago, Alashe, Alashe Olokun, Omo Miago. And what we're saying, you, owner of the deep, Awakwe, we pray, we call you, Olori Dienya Logo, you are the head. You are the head of our people. You are the leader. You are the king. Olori ti enya nago alashe. Alashe is king. King. Olokun. Your children are calling you. So I'm going to sing that and let's connect to our ancestors. Visualize our ancestors in the bottom of the sea. Visualize our ancestors as this great mother, great father that's just sitting on the throne with jewels and power and grace and this divine light that's through her, that when we call Olokun on this month, all of the potentiality that we have in our life, Olokun will grant it to us, because Olokun is also the energy of wealth. We are the wealth of the world. We became the foundation of the wealth of the world. So we must always remember that we come from great elevated ancestors and the great mother Olokun.
So true.
That hold all our riches, and when we just supplicate her and let her know and let her be aware, she just brings it forward and gives it to us. So we're not beggars or pleaders. We are honored to the queen, to the king, because Olokun is known in some areas as male as well as females. So I'm going to sing again to Olori, and you can go back and learn this song and sing it to yourself, your children, make it a part of your life. It's a powerful, powerful ritual. Oniboku lampwe, Olori tienya nago. Alashe, alashe, Olokun, omo dire apwe yo. Oniboku lampwe, Olori tienya nago. Alashe, alashe, Olokun, omo dire apwe yo. Oniboku lampwe, Olori tienya nago. Alashe, alashe, Olokun, omo dire apwe yo. Oniboku lampwe, Olori tienya nago. Alashe, alashe, Olokun, omo dire apwe yo. share, Paul, share. Blessed said Olokun, or ancestors, Black history celebration in temples, in churches, in organizations, in families, and communities. This is the time that we take a moment, a whole month, a whole year, but this is the concentration of it. As descendants of our illustrious ancestors, this is the time for us to honor Olokun, honor us annually. And so the reading of the year that we conducted in the International Institute tells us and reminds us, and let me say, read it here. Ancestors, it says that, from the reading says, the practices of ancestral reverence and honor can be a tool to bring families and communities together. This year, go beyond holding festival and masquerades, but also hold workshops and classes about Egungun, about the power of ancestors, and about Egun, your own ancestors, and the collective ancestors from Aido Huedo, our national soul, our familial soul. Bring them in. Place flags in the different ancestral nations that you are descended from on your ancestral altar this year. It's asking us to, wherever you're from, get that little flag to remind you and connect you that there's a reason why your ancestors chose for you to be born there. And honor those ancestors that died to give you the freedom to be here. Then it says, make sure that as you place, if you have not gotten a roots reading or reading to center you to find out exactly your connection, what the spiritual essence of your family, the color, what line of your family you're most prominent from, whether it's your mother's clan or your father's clan, also what side you are descended from, or which not descended from, which side is your strongest man coming through on this earth to celebrate them. If you have not gotten a reading to know what is the colors of your ancestors, the colors, the things that your ancestors did that today we might say, oh my God, that's curious that all of us in our family like art, all of us, and then you find out through a roots reading that 5-10 generations down the road, your ancestors were master craftsmen. So it's very good. This year it says, make sure that you find those aspects of your life. It also says, everyone, the more you bring in the ancestors in your everyday experiences and those who are leaders, the more you give ancestors and knowledge, the more we will evolve. So as long as we're calling on our ancestors, whether we knew them or not, collectively and our individual, that's the way we're going to rise. So the question I am asking myself during this Black History Month is, are we part of the problem or are we part of the solution? Where we find ourselves here with this universal timeout, as well as find ourselves in whatever nation you are, because this program is global. Wherever you are, ask yourself, what are you doing? What can you do to connect to the higher vibrancy of our ancestors? To the higher vibrancy that still we rise in spite of all of the challenges that we've had over the years. For over 400 years, that we know this small little part of our history connects us to a bigger part of our history and connects us to our future. So what are we doing? Are we bringing our ancestral knowledge? Are we using what they've allowed us to remember and recover from cultural amnesia? And what are we going to hand down to our children? So what are we doing? I ask myself, are you part of the problem that we find, or are you a part of the solution? Please go to yeyefin.com and download the reading of the year for the diaspora. There are rituals and celebrations there for us to do to connect us vibrationally to the universe, to each other, to our community, so that the people and the opportunities that are presenting us to see racism, sexism, all of the isms that keep us in a place that sometimes we think that that's who we are, they're rituals for us to change our vibration, to remember that we are bigger than that and we are divinely aligned. And our ancestors remember us and have gifts for us. And so does Olokun. So we come today as the part of, are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution? So I invited Imahkus, my friend, Imahkus Nzinga Okofo Ababio. This sister is doing the things to change the resonance of our ancestors. Because we're talking about Black History Month, and we keep sometimes, and not everyone, but sometimes I see on social media, we keep repeating the same thing. Who did what in the past? And our ancestors who did. We are ancestors here. We are God. True. And it is our job to then take on that baton and leave a name for ourselves. Sister Imahkus, as we know as Mama Imahkus, my sister, my friend, is here. Queen Nzinga, Imahkus Nzinga, first visited Ghana in 1987 and repatriated to New York City from New York City in 1990 with her husband, the late Nana Okofo. I still see his beautiful face. Your late husband.
Yeah.
He was a retired New York City firefighter and Asafohon of the village of Iture in. She is the CEO and owner of a beautiful health resort, restaurant, and wellness center, including a tour service located in Iture, Elmina, received by her and Nana, who she has her name proudly as One Africa. One Africa is the name of her beautiful health resort. This was conceived by her and Nana, the late Nana. One Africa was recognized by the Ghana Tourist Board as one of Ghana's leading guest houses and tour operation services. Additionally, Mama's sister Imahkus also created and is the curator of the One Africa Walls of Remembrance Museum, covering the factual history of continental and diaspora-born Africans. She also offers consultation services for preparation and counseling, preparing for repatriation to Africa, to provide guidance and information to individuals, families, and organizations seeking to return to Ghana for the purpose of residence, business, study, and tourism. This sister has been living in Africa, in Ghana, for 30 plus years. She has worked with the Ghanaian community. One for her pet project was the educational sponsorship program to unite diaspora African and Ghanaian families and raise funds to provide educational opportunity for less fortunate children from the primary through senior high school, in addition to finding donors to install boreholes in villages that are without water. She has been setting example for other Africans from the Americas and encouraging to return home to Africa, the motherland. I can go on for about an hour reading all of her accolades. This sister wrote a book that says coming home ain't easy, but it sure is a blessing. That's how I met her. Sister Imahkus, as we have, this is my ride or die buddy, homie, my sister. When we get together, it's like fire.
On like popcorn.
This sister here, the passion that she has, you know, the passion I have, this is the passion that Sister Imahkus has. We are seasoned citizens setting fire to the world, knowing that our ancestors lived through us, for us, and by
so true.
Us. Without further ado, guests, I have the honor of welcoming my sweet, loving friend, confidant, leader, Sister Imahkus. Mama, forward.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening. It's almost good morning over here. It's after 2 o'clock. I mean, the only
yes,
person
Rwanda.
From Rwanda. So you know, you're the only person that I'd get up for at 2 a.m. in the morning. I set my alarm and almost went back to sleep. But yeah, it's good to see you, sister. Listen, another sister and I were together, and we decided that, as opposed to referring to ourselves as senior citizens, we decided that we were seasoned sisters. You understand? Seasoned sisters.
Love it.
All right. So it's so good to see you. I mean, I talk to you on the phone on bad network, but it's good to see your face. You're getting younger and younger. I don't know. Listen,
We
it's
are, honey. We.
yeah.
Yes, my
Yeah.
sister. So tell us, where are you all? Where are you right now? What are you doing? Share with us what you're doing in Rwanda, how we can get in touch with you, the wonderful workers. You're a warrior. You like, we just get together and keep recreating ourselves. People say, where are you? Where is Imahkus right now? Where and what are
Yeah.
you doing?
Well, right now I'm in Kigali, Rwanda. I came here for the first time in 2018 and fell in love with Rwanda. Went back to Ghana, came back in 2019. Went back to Ghana, came back in 2020. So each time I come back, I've stayed longer. The first time I stayed for a month. The second time I stayed for about 8 weeks. Well, this time I've been here since January 2020. I haven't gone back yet. But, for me, the lockdown was a blessing. When they told me you can't go back to Ghana right now, I was like, yay, okay, I'm not going nowhere. So I got myself an apartment, and when the lockdown was over, we were under lockdown until about September. So Ghana opened up its doors, but Rwanda didn't open up their doors. So I was like, I can't go nowhere. So finally, everybody opened. And then when they told me that Ghana was charging $150 USD to come back to Ghana, I said, Charles, you just lost me because I refuse to pay you $150 to get back into my own country. Okay? So, you know how folks are. Oh, Mama Imahkus, listen, it's okay. We'll pay the 150. I said, I don't want nobody to pay. I'm not giving Ghana 150.
They don't know us.
What? For them to stick a stick up my nose. First of all, I'm not letting them stick no stick up my nose. That's number one. So, and then, you had to stay first you had to stay in a hotel for 14 days. I said, well, why should I pay to stay in a hotel when I own a hotel? It doesn't make sense. So I said, you know one thing? I have fallen in love with Rwanda. There is not a man, because most folks are. They think, oh, she's staying over there. She must got a man. No, there is no man. There are men in my life. And those men are young men, most of them who are survivors of the genocide. Not the Rwandan genocide, but the genocide against the Tutsis in 1994. And so I belong to an organization called Rich Hearts. And Rich Hearts consists of over 200 young men and women who are survivors who work to help the community. So when I came the first time, I met this community called Gweru, which is in the eastern province of Rwanda. And I mean, these folks really showed me what it meant to forgive. Because how do you forgive somebody that killed your mother and your father, and I'm a Scorpion and I can hold a grudge. I can stay pissed off, trust me. Okay. But, Nana was just the opposite. Nana would say, oh, it's okay, baby. He forgave everybody. And I would be like, I'm going to stay mad for both of us. Okay. And then, so I'm going to be pissed off for both of us. So when I went to the village and women and men were talking about how they had survived the genocide and how this one woman, and I love her so much, her name is Maria. And Maria stood up and told us how her entire family, all 6 of her children, she had 8 children, and 6 of them were killed, along with her husband. And so the man that murdered, the man's family that murdered her family, they are now living in the same village. Victims, perpetrators, and survivors are living in the same village. So when she got up and told her story, and the man's family who killed her family, the man was there, and he told his story. And then she says, and he asked her, would you be the godmother to my children? And she said, yes. I was like, I tried to be mad for her because I figured she wasn't upset, but the way, the peace, the harmony, the forgiveness that I saw amongst people who had undergone just unimaginable pain, suffering, and horror, that they were able to forgive. And, you know, we talk about the ancestors, the protection that we've had, the honor that we give to those ancestors whose shoulders we stand upon and whose backs we continue to lean upon. It just took me someplace else. I forgot about being angry. I just felt something in my heart that is very difficult to explain. So when they finished telling their story, you know, you got all these women who don't have jobs, don't have careers, have survived. So, you know, they're strong. They are strong. And we're talking about over 1.5 million people who were killed. So, you know me, I'm always trying to get into something. So I asked them, you know, I traveled with some friends of mine, Mama Zulu, which I'm sure a lot of people know, Mama Zulu, Byron, Sonia, and I. We went out to this village. And so we asked, you know, what can I do? What can I do to help you? I truly need to do something. So they said that what they would like to have in this village, and this village was created by the government of Rwanda and an NGO called the Prison Fellowship. So they said, well, you know, they'd like maybe a cultural center. The sisters wanted to learn a trade. So I said, okay, after you tell us, they told us what they wanted. I said, well, I can't make any promises other than the fact that I would try, and we'll see what we could do. So I went back to Ghana and started raising money. So, you know, I can beg for somebody else. I can never raise no money. I can never raise no money for myself, but I can raise money for other people, right? So I went back to Ghana and I raised some money, and that was in 2018. So 2019, I came back by myself, okay? And, you know, I don't mind traveling alone. So I came back, and what they had wanted was to set up, they wanted to learn to sew, okay, to become seamstresses. They wanted to run their own business. I said, okay. So I brought enough money to buy 5 sewing machines and all of the materials and things that they needed to get started. Wow. So our program is the Rwanda Women's Empowerment Peace Initiative. And so I brought all of the things that they needed. So we started the school with 10 women and got an instructor. So we had 10 students to begin with. So those 10 students shared. So you had 10, 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon. So I went back to Ghana and I raised some more money. So when I came back, I was able to buy 6 more machines. And so right now, and you know, we had some difficulties off and on because of the pandemic. Pandemic caused us to have to close down the school. So off and on, right now, the ladies have made dresses, men's shirts, pocketbooks, backpacks. I mean, they're still in training. All right. We were able to get a building. We got a small building. And each time before the pandemic, I would have people come to visit, and they would come and bring a skill. Okay. So the first person, someone came and she was a designer. So she came out to the school, spent some time with my students, taught them how to make patterns and things like that, made their first uniforms. Then somebody else came to visit and visited the facility. We didn't have any electricity. So this person put electricity into the building. So the objective, and then the plan that, then another friend of mine came. She's a psychologist, Sister D. And so then the pandemic came. Okay, so that shut everything down. We worked as long as we could until the government said that we had to shut down under the circumstances. So right now, there are some other things that we need to do. We're in the process of filing for a grant. We're trying to get a grant for the program. Okay. We're brand new. So the other thing that I did was that I partnered with this group, Rich Hearts. So we now have an organization called One Africa, Rich Hearts, One Africa. And we've partnered. And when I tell you that these are some fantastic, fantastic people, these are some wonderful women. So at the end of their training, which could run anywhere from, say, 1 to 1.5 years, okay, possibly 2 years, they have the option of staying with the program, forming a collective, a cooperative, so that they, in fact, will own their business. They will set up, once setting up the cooperative, we have a similar to a credit union, something so that they can save funds, so that when they're finished, they will make major contributions to the village that they live in, improve their family living conditions. And the other component, once we get some more money, because we have on the drawing board setting up a daycare center, because a lot of the women do have children. We do seminars to teach them about how to do business. And so we strive to make sure that anything that is produced is of international quality, so that we will be able to sell their produce, not only in Rwanda, but internationally. So what we've done, because with the shutdown, people just had few resources. So once again, I put on my bag hat, please help me. And so I was able to raise enough money to feed 120 families. The first time we did it was in was in 2019. So I also introduced Kwanzaa here in Rwanda. Couldn't give a big blowout because of the pandemic, but I was given permission to go to my village, which is about 2 hours drive from the capital. And I was able to raise enough money to feed 120 families. And when I say feed, it wasn't like we prepared food and took it. We bought rice, we bought beans, we bought oil, we bought sugar, we bought enough food for 120 families. And this time, because my friend and sister, Rita Muhammad, is here also, Rita bought enough she bought enough toys for all the children in the village. Okay. So we celebrated Kwanzaa. The first day, January, Imani, faith, we celebrated Kwanzaa. And, if God is so good, before we could even distribute the food, it rained. It poured, girl, I'm telling you, water was everywhere. But we were able to leave enough food to feed all of the families. Because the village consists of 110 families. And then we had additional 4 families of rich hearts. So, it's just doing a little of this and a little of that. But I have, like I said, fallen in love with Rwanda. I am resident here now, so that I will be spending most of my time in Rwanda, part of my time in Ghana. And the thing about Rwanda that's so nice, first of all, over 60% of the parliament is female, okay? The government mandate says that any business, 35% of the workforce must be female. So you got to see these sisters out here building houses. I mean, living in Rwanda is like living in a garden. There's flowers all over the place. And when they say that they are a country of 1,000 hills, believe them. I mean, I'm like this, up and down, around curves. Sometimes I just close my eyes because I don't want to see what's out there. And then, in addition to that, the city, the country is so clean that you can eat off the streets. Unbelievable. Every month, every citizen, I think it's the last Saturday of every month, everybody has to get out and clean the street. Every month. Even the president is out there. And I have to say, I love the president. Not only me, everybody here loves the president because he is one of those leaders that really cares about his people. And if you knew what happened in 1994, 25 years later, Rwanda is one of the most beautiful, well-governed countries, small, 12 million plus people, but one of the finest countries in Africa and one of the most respected leaders. So when I looked at all of those things, and opportunities are here for development, I remember I talked to the organization. They have an organization called the Rwanda Development Board. And there's a site that they've built called the Kigali Cultural Village. So I want to put a museum in there. So I talked to them about it. Folks are interested, but once again, the pandemic, we just came off of lockdown. I mean, tomorrow is the first time I'll be able to go out without a pass, okay? Because in order to go out, you have to send email, WhatsApp to a government agency. You got to tell them where you're going, when you want to go, and how long you're going to be out there. The only place that you can go is to the bank, to the market, and to the doctor. Now, if you're not doing none of that, you better be keeping your behind in the house. And for curfew, let me give you a joke. Curfew was 8 o'clock. So hear me wanting to make sure that I had everything to take to the village. So I was short on biscuits. So I needed to have at least 110 packs of biscuits, and I didn't have enough. So I'm going to go out, me and Rita, my girl. So we go out, traffic is heavy. By the time we get to the store is closed. So I said to the driver, look, you got to take me back. The driver said, no, I can't take you. I have to be inside by 8 o'clock. I said, but you can't leave us on the street. So, oh, yes, you get out of my car. I said, I'm not getting out this car. I'm not getting out. He said, I'm not taking you. So I get out the car. Now I'm getting ready to go Harlem Street on him. Okay, but then I said, let me be a lady. In the meantime, Rita's sitting in the car. And so when I got out, I said, well, I'm not paying him because he ain't taking me back. I'm not giving him nothing. So I get out the car. Rita gets out the car. Here she. I said, did you pay him? She said, yeah, because he brought us here. I said, but he ain't taking us back. Bottom line, had to call my landlord, call somebody else. Everybody was like, oh, but it's 7:30 and we're not going to get back in time. So bottom line is that they managed to pick us up at a strategic location so everybody would get home in time. Let me tell you how the ancestors was working for me. We got back at 7:58. We pulled into my yard. Anything after that, you don't go to jail. You go to the stadium. Here's my girlfriend. Here's she. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. I said, you ain't going to jail, girl. Calm down. I don't want. She said, I've traveled all over Africa and I have never been to jail. It's like, I come over here messing with you and we going to jail. I'm not going to jail. And I am going to the stadium. 7:58 before when we pulled into the yard. I was like this. She said, I'm never going out with you when it's close to curfew. Okay, if curfew's 8, the latest I'll be out in the street is 5 o'clock. So
I say.
It's been amazing. And you know, the other thing too about Rwanda is that Rwanda has zero tolerance for corruption. Zero. So you know me. I figured, let me test the waters. Because, you know, in Ghana, they always like, you know, give me a dash. You got to pay a dash to do this. You got to pay somebody a dash to do that. So I wanted to get into a certain area. And so when I asked the guards, police, if I could go inside, they said, oh, no, madam, you can't go. And I'm like, what? Why? He said, no one is allowed. So I hear me. I came back. I said, hey, now I made friends with them. They know who I am. They all call me Mama One Africa. Okay. So I show up this morning and I said, hi, can I go inside? They said, no. I said, oh, my brother. I reach in my pocket and I come out with some money. Say, hey, just a little something for your pocket. You let me go there, okay? They said, no. Serious. So I said, okay. So I came back the following week. This time I stopped at the store and I picked them up some pastry for breakfast. And I took it over there, gave them the breakfast, talked to them a minute. I said, so listen, can I go inside? They said, no. I was like, you're kidding. You only ate my breakfast and you won't let me go inside. So hear me. Well, who do I have to talk to get in there? So they gave me this guy's name. So I called him and he made an appointment for me. So sure enough, I show up, get to the gate, same guys. I said, I have an appointment to go inside. He said, oh, I know One Africa. They are waiting for you there. Now, I could have did that to begin with, but I was testing the waters. When they say zero tolerance for corruption, they are not kidding. These folks are serious. They do not want to lose their jobs. I saw the president fire 3 ministers on nationwide TV for corruption. That's right.
Oh, sure. And so Imahkus, I got a question.
Yes.
I got a question. So when we come out of this pandemic, as you call it, the pandemic, when we come out of the pandemic. Yes, when we come out of the pandemic, is there a way that is it possible for in your planning, because you know you have always worked with organizing and bringing people together, bringing troops and groups together. is there something that you're going to be able to encourage or have a plan for us to come and visit Rwanda, have some type of perhaps by December or so? Are you planning anything so that we will be able to see that? Because my reason for saying that is that everybody's running to Ghana and to other, which is cool, which is fine.
Right.
But from what you're describing, and that's why I said I would be there in June. What the thing that rings true to me, they're women in the majority of the government. That to me was very impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive, because you know that when women are together, we are working for the bigger picture.
Yes.
Because we are not going to send our boys to war. We're not going to send our children to war. Other men can sit around a table and send men to war. And that was the thing that caught me. So please give us, how is it that we can contribute to the organization that you're working with? And I know this for you is just a start, because you've just been there a year, and look at all of the work that you've done. Because in the past, you're the founding member of the Universal Pan-African Diaspora Coalition. You're the president, one of the organizers of the Central Region African Ascendancy in Ghana, the vice president of the board of Coma International Academy of Arts and Science. When you get in, you know how we are. We ride hard. When we go in, we go 100. So in this year that you've been there, I want you to now, we go 100. You talking Harlem? I'm talking Brooklyn strong.
Okay.
So I want to know when and how can we come as a group. Within the pandemic, there's still people traveling to different parts. So let us know.
Yeah. See, the thing is, anytime, listen, all you have to do is give me some dates and tell me when you want to travel, and then I can organize it. I have, I still do my tourism, hospitality, counseling, or repatriation. And so all you have to do is let me know when you want to come. I'll put together a package, which I can send to you. And we go from there, because all of the arrangements, transportation and all the rest of that, I set up. Anybody that travels with me knows that I do not do 5-star hotels. Okay. Nothing like that. For me, for us, it's important to be a part of the community and to be able to support our own people. Because when I first came, they put me in a Chinese hotel. And when I woke up the next morning and found out that, I thought that was a Chinese restaurant, and I don't eat Chinese food. And they said, oh no, this is owned by the Chinaman. I said, excuse me, I'm checking out. They said, well, where are you going? I said, I don't know. I'm going to get a taxi, but I'm out of here. And I did. And I searched until I found the hotel, which was owned and operated by Rwandans. So we will use Rwandan facilities, drivers, restaurants, all of that. And,
okay, great.
My motto to anybody that travels with me, that visits One Africa, is that if you have any complaints, keep them to yourself, okay? Then we have a good time. Because I'm not going to do it.
It is, because it's not going to change the cost of milk. It's not going to change anything.
No, not at all. Not at all. Okay.
So, Sister Imahkus, tell us. So there are many people asking on here, I see in the chat, that they're interested in coming, and that. What about people who are just interested in contributing to the women training and the instruction, and how is it that they can get in touch with you and donate some monies? They can do it by organizations, they can do it by individuals. How is it? Because I know you told me already you don't have Cash App or PayPal over there. So
no,
how can we, so that we can put it in and people can send funds to you?
There are several ways. One of the easiest ways is through World Remit to my mobile money account, or they can make wire transfer money into our bank account. We have an account at EcoBank, Western Union, or MoneyGram. Now, Western Union and MoneyGram, I find that to be expensive. Okay. So as opposed to giving that money to them, you give it to me. So those are the ways that donations can be made. And they would be made to my name, my telephone number, which I'll give you for World. See what World Remit does, you put it through World Remit. World Remit then deposits it into my mobile money account. And then I can take it from there. That's one of the easiest ways to do.
So now, is that the number that you have your original Kilani? Is that what is the number that you have for me? Can you just say it so that we can write it into the chat? Say it slowly so that we can write it into the chat.
Okay, it's plus 250 788 659 148. That's
Repeat
my
that.
Plus 250 788 659 148.
And this is to send the money directly to you?
That they will use Remit, and Remit will send the money directly to that account number. That's the easiest way to do it.
Okay. I'm going to put this in here.
Now,
and you call it Remit, you say?
It's called World Remit. And they would be sending it to my MTN account, or what we call Momo, MOMO. MTN.
MTM?
M like mother, T like Tommy, N like Nancy.
Okay.
MTN.
TN.
And then in parentheses, you call it Momo.
I think I put it in there.
Yeah. The other thing, too, the other way,
great.
One of the other things that I've set up to raise funds is that if people want to also purchase my book, Returning Home Ain't Easy, but it sure is a blessing. And that can be ordered either directly or through Amazon. Part of the proceeds from the sale of the book will go towards the project. So just trying to be creative in how we raise money until such time as we're able to apply for a grant.
Okay. Yes, well, that's what is very important, because I know a couple of people have texted me and asked me, is it another way? So this is great that you can get the book. So you're able to put that, we'll put that information up. Okay. I directly have to do. So anyone out there that's interested in going to Rwanda, definitely stay in touch with Sister Imahkus. How is it that we can stay in touch with you, Sister Imahkus? Give us the number, your Rwandan number, or your email.
That's my Rwandan telephone number. Call me directly.
Okay.
Or you can email me at One Africa, ONE Africa _Ghana at yahoo.com.
Good. Yes. So we're going to put that in the chat for everyone, your email address, so that everyone can stay in touch with Sister Imahkus, because the work that she's doing is you're making the same strides as you did when you went to Ghana 30 years ago. You're starting a little movement again. Wherever you go, that's what you do. And that's the love that you have for our people. That's the kind of cultural soul and spiritual soul that you have that connects us, that whoever, if this is the first you're connecting to her, this woman here is amazing.